What's up, everybody? This is MICXSIC. I'm here with Yohance Kyles, senior news writer at allhiphop.com, and this is the bar exam for April 2016 recap. Man, how you doing, bro?
Good, man. Thanks for having me.
For sure, man. Cheers, cheers. We over here at Edgewood at Delightful Eatz. Shout out to them for letting us film here. Real cool people. Yeah, so this is the recap, man. We're gonna talk about the bar exam, Apache Cafe, Friday, April 22nd. It went down. Real dope show. Probably maybe top 5, man, ever. To me.
Big.
Did you have any expectations kind of going into the show, or?
Honestly, I didn't. I was just really excited to see the talent. Like, you know, I tell people all the time, like, you know, I get a chance to interview a lot of different artists, but I really appreciate talking to and getting to experience performances from up-and-coming artists. You know what I'm saying? Because they're still hungry. You know what I'm saying? And they still really have that drive in them. And so it's always good to see that. It's always good to be a part of that.
No doubt, no doubt. Was this your first time going to Apache? Like, you been there?
Yeah, that was my first time.
Oh, ever?
Oh,
yeah.
what?
Okay, okay. No doubt, no doubt. What you think about the place?
Oh, I love the spot. It was convenient, and the crowd was great, the atmosphere was great. Even before the show started, I got a chance to talk with some of the people in the crowd, and everybody was real friendly and open, and they knew a lot about music too, which was what was really impressive to me. Like, it wasn't just a crowd that was just there, you know, just to be there. Like, they really had an understanding of music and hip hop, and you could tell that by their reactions to the performances.
Yeah. That's what I do love about the bars and the crowd, and even Apache's crowd in general. Is there's people that go there to listen to music, or to discover music, or to just kind of have a good time. That's why we have the tables and standing room as well. So it's always a great crowd, man. At Apache Cafe for the bars. So, did you have any? What was your initial reaction when you first walked in, being it was the first time that you were there at Apache, and also for the bars as well? The first thing that jumped out.
The first thing I noticed was the diversity of the crowd, especially like the ages. One of the great things about hip hop is that it's gotten to the point where it's like now it's generational. You know what I'm saying? Like, you had cats in there who were like they were barely 18.
Somebody snuck.
Right. And then you had the guys. You know, you had some of the older guys, some of the older women, and they they all meshed well, and they all really appreciated the fact that they were there listening to hip hop.
Right.
Which was great. I also want to say about the actual event. I love the format of it. I really appreciated that because you got to see artists in different elements. You know what I'm saying? Like, they came out, they did their freestyles, and then they performed the record. And so you got to kind of see the all-around artistry of that person, which I thought was different from like other showcases that I've been to.
No doubt. I'm sure you've probably been to a lot of showcases in the United States.
Yeah.
And you were born and raised here in Atlanta, right?
Decatur.
No doubt. No doubt. That's what's up. Decatur, so we got the show started about 9:30. Started on time. So, this ain't a rap show that don't start on time. You know what I mean?
Expected that.
No doubt. So what was it like for you, like, when you first sat down and you kind of just, you're in the judging chair, I know you probably don't do that too often.
Actually, I don't do too many panels at all, to be honest with you. I'm more of like a behind the scenes type of person. That's what I really enjoy doing. I'm a writer, you know what I'm saying? So, like, I'm more like introverted, and so being in those positions is sometimes a little nerve-wracking for me. So I was a little nervous going into it, but like I said, once I got there and I got to experience the crowd, it made me feel a little bit more calm, you know what I'm saying? And then what also helped was that the performances were good. So like when you have to critique somebody, it's always easier when you have people that are performing at a higher level. So that was good.
No doubt. And shout out to Head Crack too. That
definitely,
he was on the panel as well with Yohance. It was a great panel, man. A lot of good feedback from y'all both, man. Y'all really held that down. All right, cool, man. So let's talk about the rounds. Let's get to the talent. We start every show off with a cipher, or every group of artists come up, they cipher, and we let the audience pick the first performer. Our first performer was Too Raw from Houston. He really set the bar. He had crazy energy. And then from there we had Dalen and a poet. We actually had a poet this month named John Long. What you think about the homie John?
Yeah, I appreciate the fact that he got up there and did something a little bit different. Especially considering the content of the poem, man. Like, it was very personal. He talked about some personal stuff, and I think that the crowd was able to relate to that. And I think that they respected the fact that he was willing to get up there and be vulnerable like that and open up like that. And they kind of showed him that love back. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And he said he was nervous and everything too. As soon as he done, that's one of my my favorite feelings, man, or that moment when the artist is done performing or a poet is done talking, and then everybody just erupts.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know, I can see it on the artist's face. They're like, oh man, this is dope. So that was a special moment. We had a lot of other dope artists in that round.
That was a tough round, man.
Yeah, it was, man.
A tough round.
DTL, man, Barsham alumni. He came back through after, you know, maybe a 6-month hiatus. He came through. He had great energy as well. Dalen was real dope. I think, but man, with John though, I think it was something. It was definitely something special.
Yeah, when Headcrack and I was deliberating, it was a really close battle between Too Raw and John. Because like you said, Too Raw had just that energy, man. Like he lit the stage on fire, and then John came with this very different, introspective performance. Two completely different styles, but each like dope in their own right. So that was a tough one to choose.
Yeah, so eventually we went with John Long to come out of Group A, winner of Group A. Group 2, Group B, we had Smooth from Milwaukee, the Tall Cat, Jay Pino, real dope MC, Malsai from South Carolina, Barsham alumni, they had that Zulu joint, and Jay Mod, Jay Mad, I totally butchered your name, sorry bro. That was a dope round. We actually had our first Pass the Mic of the night with the homie Smooth. The room was a little divided, but what was it, you know, about Smooth that you think the crowd just really connected with? They said Pass the Mic.
I think first off, Smooth was a dope rapper. Like, he came with bars. He could definitely rhyme.
Yeah.
But I think maybe it was the production that kind of threw the crowd off a little bit. It was, I said it felt a little dated, but Headcrack made a good point. He was talking about how it was more of like a Midwest style, and maybe that's why the audience didn't connect to it.
Yeah.
Being it was a Southern-based audience, maybe they didn't quite understand like the reference of where the production was coming from. But that's another important point. Like you have to understand the audience that you're performing for.
Yeah.
I think Headcrack said that too. You have to know who's out in the crowd and who you're trying to appeal to. And I think that was the only thing that kind of held him back. Because like I said, he could rap. Like he was rapping his ass off. So yeah, the only thing I could think of that was kind of disconnecting with the crowd was the production.
Yeah, no doubt, no doubt. You know, out of respect to him though, because I caught it too. You know, he was really spitting. Beat wasn't there, so we let him go a cappella after he asked to pass the mic. You know what I mean? Because I'm always about, you know, letting the artists get their bars off. You know what I mean? But you know, at the same time, you got to project. Not saying he wasn't, but that's just another thing I just want to shout out to. A lot of artists are dope. They have crazy energy and they got rhymes, but they're not clear.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's very important, you know, for an MC to have. So yeah, we went with the South Carolina boys.
Man, they actually had my favorite hook of the night on their performance. And I liked it because I can't remember the exact words, but they were talking about like riding down the street but still screaming Zulu. And to me that was dope because they're giving you like this trap street essence, but at the same time like they're hitting you with the conscious stuff. And it kind of reminded me of like, and I'm not comparing them so nobody online goes crazy, but it kind of reminded me of Outkast. How like Outkast, they could give you that street sound, like you had that song like Gangsta Shit, but at the same time, while they're giving you that street sound, they dropping knowledge on you.
Yeah.
And that's what I appreciated about them. Like they brought two different elements together and it meshed really well.
Yeah.
And that doesn't always work, but they work with them.
Yeah, that was dope, man. And they Bar Exam alumni. This is their third time performing at the Bar Exam. So you know, you get that feedback, you come back, you raise the bar. You know what I mean? If you can't, I'm all about raising the bar. Artists should set the bar within themselves, live up to your own standards, and just try to be the best artist and person that you can be, night in and night out, man. So shout out to them. They took the second round.
You know, if you perform somewhere and that particular show doesn't go well, you know, it's hard for some artists to get back on that stage. And they came back to the exact same venue, the exact same event, and got back up there. So that was dope. You know, respect to them for that.
Yeah, no doubt, no doubt. So let me see. So that was Group A, Group B. And then we got into our feature, last month's winner from Harlem, New York. She real talk. Yeah. She real. You know what I mean? Real dope sister, man. Real humble, but hungry.
Yeah.
Man, she came through it and she bodied it, man. She did a cool little intro joint. She kicked it off with the intro joint, and then she went into her joint Where the Soul At, which actually is a song that she performed to win the Bar Exam last month. And that set the bar. I mean, that really got the audience you know, going back and forth with it, man. And
they would definitely vibe with her.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I got to see her from the crowd. I wasn't actually on the stage for that performance.
Right.
So I got to see it from a different perspective. And just being out in the audience, like the energy was crazy. And she recognized that, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's another sign of a good performer. Like, she understood, okay, I got the crowd. Now let me make sure I keep my energy level up to maintain them. Because you can capture them, right? Like, you can come out strong and you can capture them and then you can lose them. But she didn't do that. She made sure that she maintained her energy throughout the whole show.
Yeah.
The whole performance.
Yeah, her whole set had a gradual progression. I didn't think she tried to, out-rap anybody or oversell herself, or, she wasn't screaming at anybody. I thought it was real cool that she just came through and she just went in. She kicked it off. She had great beat selection. She did her song Living Single, which is a new joint. She just dropped it like 3 days before the show. So shout out to our media partners too for helping, get that record out there. But yeah, people was really vibing to that record, you know what I mean? And truth be told, like, I love the joint, you know what I'm saying? But when I heard it live and I heard the hook, man, I was like, okay, this joint vibing, you know what I'm saying? She said I got the flavor like Khadijah, and she had the little melody from the show. I'm like, okay, that's fly. So that was real dope. And then I think she had one more joint. Oh, the Ladies' Night rendition she did. That set it off right there. Man.
It was so dope that she kind of took like these themes from the 90s.
Yeah.
But, she modernized it for now. And, we was thinking about the crowd, how it was like different age groups in the crowd.
Yeah.
And she was smart because she understood, like, okay, if I tap back into this 90s stuff, I'm going to capture some of the older 30-something year olds.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I'm going to come with this new vibe that's going to have the 20-year-olds too.
Yeah.
That was brilliant of her. And another thing that really impressed me is I got a chance to talk to her after the show.
Okay. Word.
And, like, the person you saw on stage was completely different from the person that was off stage. And that's not a negative thing. It was just like, she was very reserved and very calm. Just talking to her one-on-one. But when she was on stage, she was like a straight star.
Yeah.
And like that really stood out to me. Like, okay, she understands like what I need to do when I'm on that stage.
Yeah.
She really gave it, which was good.
Yeah, that's like, on the scales of the Barzan logo, it says grind and talent, man. I might switch it for humble and hungry. You know what I'm saying? Like, it goes a long way if you're somebody that's cool to work with, that's real easy going. But then, when you're hungry, that makes other people around you hungry too. You know what I'm saying? It makes people want you to win. You know what I'm saying?
And it makes people want to work with you too. Like, if I see you're out here and you're really grinding, you're really putting in the work, then I'm gonna say, okay, I'm gonna put my energy into that too.
Yeah.
But if you come to me and you're like, yeah, I want you to help me, I want you to work with me, but you're not putting the work in, then it's harder for somebody to say, okay, yeah, I really want to support you. It's not that they may not even believe in your talent, but talent can only take you so far.
Right.
Which I tell a lot of people, especially in the music business. There's a lot of talented people out here, especially in Atlanta. Like, this city has a lot of talented folks. So it takes a little bit more to kind of stand out from everybody else. And I think she definitely has it.
Yeah, true indeed. So shout out She Real, social media at She Real Talk. Okay, so then after She Real Talk, we went straight into Group C, round 3 with Jonay, Matt Oko, Jalen from Atlanta, and G Maculate. That was a real dope round.
Good round, man. Very good round. Very competitive. They all came hard, for sure.
Yeah, no doubt. I think Jalen was real dope. And let me ask you this too, man. I mean, he's from Southside Atlanta, I believe. And he was a lyricist, man. He really brought it. He had a short set. I think he got a longer song. And we gave him the opportunity to sing a longer song. I think he might have been able to come out that round, in my personal opinion. But does it ever surprise you when you see, lyricists that, from Atlanta performing at these shows? Or is that just something that, we just, or pop culture, commercial side of things don't see, in the mainstream?
I think mainstream hip-hop has gotten this reputation that Atlanta doesn't have rappers, you know what I'm saying? Because some of the guys who are at the top right now aren't necessarily lyricists, but if you look at the history of Atlanta, we've always had people here that can rap, like that are straight MCs, When you talk about like Outkast MC, Andre and Big Boy, or Killer Mike, the whole Dungeon family, they all came with that. And so like being here in the city, I've had the chance to really listen to a lot of the guys that are coming up, and I feel like it's actually starting to move back to lyricism. You know what I'm saying? Like, it hasn't kind of branched out. It hasn't kind of branched out yet. But if you're here in the city, you definitely see that happening. Like, I had the chance to interview like 20 different artists, up and coming artists here from the city, who like right below the cusp of stardom. And quite a few of them, they're really focused on lyrics. Like, you have your trap stars, but at the same time, you have people like, Scotty ATL, or Jared Benson, or Rory, who comes with different styles, you know what I'm saying? So, yeah, it doesn't surprise me. Like, even if you go to different showcases, you'll see that you have some people that are really spitting. I think part of that, too, is that if you look at the younger generation, what they're kind of going back into and studying is like 90s hip-hop.
Yeah.
You know, so 90s hip hop
is about as old school as it gets.
Right. So it gets really focused on lyrics, and so I think like they're starting to try to like emulate that now.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so I think the culture's starting to shift here in Atlanta. It hasn't kind of reached the rest of the country yet. Everybody hasn't quite seen that what's going on here, but yeah, if you live here, you kind of understand that it's not really a surprise.
Yeah, yeah, and that was a great article too, man. That's an opportunity to shed light on that. You know what I'm saying? Definitely more pieces like that, more guys like you, covering that. So eventually, I know y'all chose Matt Oko.
Yeah.
Another lyricist.
Yeah. He stood out to me because not only did he come with lyrics, but his flow and delivery was really impressive. He was rhyming in a way that he was spitting like a whole bunch of syllables into bars, which is rare. Not only is that rare, but the fact that he was able to perform that without stopping. Like he never broke. I was watching him and I was trying to figure out when he was going to take a breath because he was spitting so fast, but he just kept going. So for me, that was kind of what pushed him over the edge from everybody else. Because like I said, that was a really competitive round, but I felt like his flow and his delivery was something different than we had seen from other artists.
So round 4, closing the night out. Still a good crowd there. It was probably about 12 o'clock or so. We had Envy, 2K, Marty, and then a late registration, MICXSIC. Pretty dope round. Did we have any pass the mics in that round? I don't. Did 2K?
I don't think it was.
Okay, no doubt.
Shout out to them too because it's kind of hard to be like the last people to go on.
Right.
You know, you got to sit through and watch everybody else perform, and then you got to go up there.
Right.
It's a little tough, but they came with it.
Yeah, they definitely did. I mean, I think Envy, she set it off real cool. She was real grateful just to be there for the experience and the feedback and everything that, just was the bar exam. She was super excited to be there. 2K did his thing. I think Marty though, man. I think Marty ended up winning that round, and Marty just had crazy energy.
Plus, I felt like he had the best record of the night. Like, I felt like the song that he performed was actually something that you can actually hear on the radio right now.
Yeah.
That's how prepared he was with his record. And then he had a great performance too. Like, he had the crowd singing the hook.
Yeah.
And you can have a crowd singing a hook that they don't know, like they've never heard the song before, but you can have them join along with you. Yeah. That's pretty dope. Yeah,
true indeed. Shout out to King Cypher. He was a late registrant. He definitely did his thing too, man. And he hit me up on the gram afterwards too. Was real super grateful to be mad supportive. He was another MC that really stood out and took ownership of it.
He was one of the top guys too, I felt like, because one, when he first came on the stage, I was kind of nervous for him because he was real reserved. Yeah. You kind of feel that energy. Yeah. But then when he got behind the mic, he just turned it on. And he did a performance where he was sitting on a stool and he performed with a mic stand. And that's hard to do, especially in a setting like that. When you have everybody else that's just doing the mic and they're moving around. Like he just sat there and performed, and he still captured people's attention. Yeah. Which is definitely impressive. And also I think he was the only person that night that came with 2 hooks.
Oh, word.
Yeah, he had like a pre-hook and then he had a hook. Yeah. And that was smart because like it gave the audience more time to connect with him. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's why it's called a hook, because that's when you hook them in. And so, so he was smart to do that. And it was tough. Like, that was a tough round too. He was one of the people that definitely could have, if he might have been in another round, it might have been different. Yeah, and sometimes,
it goes that way, and that's why we had to start doing the wild cards, is because, it's hard to just pick 4. Yeah. There's people like, sometimes it's how the ball bounces, or it depends on what round you're in. You might be in a group of 4 great artists, and I personally feel with this bar exam, there was at least 4 or 5 artists that could have made it.
Yeah, could have came back.
Yeah, definitely. But y'all brought back 2 Raw, the very first artist who performed that night, and he really set the bar with his energy. How come y'all brought him back over the rest?
The thing about 2 Raw was that he was really good in the cypher round, and he was really good in his performance. Yeah. So he came strong with both. And then, like you talked about his energy, he might have had like the best energy in the room that night. Yeah. And he went on first. You know what I'm saying? Like, he didn't have anybody else warm up the stage for him or warm the crowd up for him. He had to get out there first. Yeah. And he took it. And so we brought him back because he felt like he was probably the strongest, best of the rest. Yeah.
So we narrowed down our top 5, our 4 winners from each group, our wild card, 2 Raw, who performed in the first round, set the whole thing off. Yeah. And he was chosen as our wild card. I've actually seen artists leave before they could have won it. They could have been the wild card, but they've actually left. So shout out to him for sticking around, getting that opportunity. Got our top 5 down. We went to our final cipher, and I think Too Raw, man, he just kept raising the bar every time he got on stage. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man, he understood like the moment. You know what I'm saying? Like he got that microphone back and he just went off. You know, he grabbed the mic, he jumped out in front of everybody else. He started walking back and forth. He just really grabbed the crowd, and he kind of made it easy for them, like to make the decision, because like, last cipher came on, he understood like this is my moment, and he took it.
Yeah, that last cipher will really make or break the artist, so it really can be the difference between winning and losing, because it's the last opportunity the artists have to really show the audience what they can do, or kind of remind them what they did when they hit the stage. And he brought the energy, he kept raising the bar, and when we went to final deliberation, which we turned over to the crowd, and everybody has to vote for somebody, we can only vote for one person, it was unanimous, and Too Raw ended up taking the bar exam crown for April, 2016.
I think it's a testament too, like you was talking about how like some guys leave or some of the artists leave and they miss their moment. Like it's a testament to him that he stuck in there.
Yep.
He could have been like discouraged at the fact that he didn't get picked, or he didn't win his round. But he stayed around, and when the opportunity came back around again for him, he took the opportunity and ran with it. So, yeah, that's definitely a lesson in that.
No doubt. Shout out to Too Raw, man. OMG, the number 2 Raw, all social media. He will be back May 27th for the bar exam as our featured artist. Tickets, RSVP, all at the barexamopenmic.com. Go to get your tickets or RSVP or register to perform next month with Too Raw as our feature. Want to thank you, man, for being a part
Appreciate
of it.
Appreciate it, man. Thanks for having me.
Thank you so much. Thank you to Head Crack for being a part of the show. DJ Knots.